Ladies and gentlemen, in India, there is another war that is raging, this one in Parliament that reconvened today and straight off transformed into a conflict zone. The opposition's #1 priority, the dismissal of the Speaker, was forgotten today, and the opposition started insisting on a discussion on the Gulf War instead. When the External Affairs Minister got up to speak on the conflict in the Middle East and what India was doing, the sloganeering and disruption by the opposition drowned his speech. The chair was inflamed, but the opposition carried on with sharam karo, in the Rajya Sabha. As the External Affairs Minister made his statement, the opposition walked out. In the Lok Sabha, they stormed the well of the House, shouting, "We want a discussion." Take a look at what happened inside Parliament.
Our diplomats have also worked hard to assist stranded transit passengers in hubs like Dubai, Doha and Abu Dhabi. They have facilitated international border crossings for Indian nationals, including from UAE to Oman and from Qatar, Kuwait and Bahrain to Saudi Arabia. Wherever there has been a partial opening of airspace, we have approved and undertaken commercial flights.
Are you serious? If you are serious, so today it is on agenda. You must start. मैं आपको अलाउ कर रहा हूँ. अगर आप नहीं चाहते हैं कि आज जो एक आप खुद एजेंडे पे मोशन है, पार्लियामेंट्री अफेयर मिनिस्टर ने कहा कि हम सरकार की तरफ से तैयार है चर्चा करने के लिए, सदन तैयार है, और आप उसके जगह पे दूसरा विषय ला रहे हैं. नहीं, सदन नियमों से चलता है.
इस सदन में रूल है, आप लोग अपना ही दिया वाला रूल को नहीं मानते हैं. मैं कांग्रेस के जो थोड़ा सीनियर है, जो सीनियर इस हाउस में रहे, मैं आपसे कहना चाहता हूँ, थोड़ा अंतरात्मा में झांक के देखिए. आप जो ये हरकत कर रहे हैं, ये इससे क्या भला हो रहा है देश का, और संसद का गरिमा को आप लोगों ने कितना गिराया है. अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं खंडन करना चाहता हूँ और फिर से अनुरोध करता हूँ.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you remember, a month ago, the opposition had moved a no-confidence motion against the Lok Sabha Speaker, Om Birla, for his supposed biased conduct in the House. It was largely symbolic, given that the opposition really doesn't have the numbers to see it through. But they were making a point here. A discussion on that and perhaps voting was scheduled today. But the opposition changed its mind and said that the Gulf War and its impact on India was a far, far bigger concern now than the Speaker, so that should be discussed instead. The government dug in its heels and said, this my way or the highway attitude will not work. Listen in.
वेस्ट एशिया में हो रहा है, उससे कितने रुपए का नुकसान होगा? एक प्रकार से पैराडाइम शिफ्ट करने की लड़ाई चल रही है, उससे हमारी इकोनॉमी को जबरदस्त नुकसान होने वाला है. यूएस डील साइन कर दी है मोदी जी ने, तो बहुत जबरदस्त चोट लगने वाली है देश को. तो उस पर डिस्कशन करने से क्या प्रॉब्लम है?
We are demanding for a discussion on Western crisis. We are very firm on that. We demanding for a discussion because India is going to affect in a very bigger way.
सरकार अपना पक्ष साफ करे कि वॉर को वो किस तरीके से ले रहे हैं, उनका राय क्या है इस पर. और फिर हम आत्मनिर्भर की बात कर रहे हैं, हम अमेरिका का ऑर्डर मान रहे हैं. तो हमारी आत्मनिर्भरता और हमारे देश को कोई डिक्टेट कर रहा है कि आपको तेल कितने दिन खरीदना है, कितना ले पाएंगे आप. तो ये कहीं ना कहीं बहस होनी चाहिए.
और ये है विपक्ष के नेता क्या गरिमा करते हैं, पूरे सदन को सही में हाईजैक कर लिया है. बहस से भागते हैं, सिर्फ चिल्लाते हैं. और क्या कहूं मैं, इसलिए कहा सदन का मजाक मत बनाइए. संसद की एक गरिमा है, इसको अराजकता की जगह मत बनाइए.
इन्होंने सबको सुना और जब जवाब देने की बारी आई तो ऑपोजिशन वॉकआउट करके चला गया. ये इनका कच्चा चिट्ठा है, इसको हमको याद रखना चाहिए. इनका कोई इंटरेस्ट देश में नहीं है, इनका कोई इंटरेस्ट भारत के लोगों के विकास में नहीं है, इनका कोई इंटरेस्ट विकसित भारत में नहीं है. इनका इंटरेस्ट राजनीति करके अपनी ओछी राजनीति को आगे बढ़ाने का है.
Siddharth Yadav, spokesperson of the BJP, joining us on the broadcast. Mohan Kumara Mangalam is spokesperson of the Congress party, joining us on the broadcast as well. Good evening, gentlemen. This is going to be a short 12-minute discussion, so I request you to keep your comments brief. Siddharth Yadav, as spokesperson of the BJP, I'm coming to you first. As far as political priorities are concerned, there is a war raging on in West Asia, and there is the matter of the speaker's dismissal, right? Given the fact that circumstances have dramatically changed in the last 12 days, isn't the opposition right in saying, guys, let's discuss the war? The speaker issue can wait.
Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to all your viewers. I think the opposition has taken up the agenda that the parliament will either function according to their will, or according to their fancies, or it will not function at all. But unfortunately, a mature democracy doesn't function that way. You decide to move a motion. You go to the BSC, you get a time allotted for the same. You decide on that particular time. When that time comes, you suddenly come up and say, we demand a suspension of business. We want another issue. What do you want from the government? If I have to give a very small example, Shreya, you decided a topic for this debate. Both of us agreed. Both of us are here. Both of us are ready to debate on this at 7:20 on your show. Now, as soon as the debate will begin, the Congress spokesperson will say, no, I demand a suspension of business. This debate will not happen. I have a very different topic. And if you don't let that debate happen, what according to me I'm saying, to which I agreed, I will not let this debate happen. How will you conduct your debate?
Sometimes circumstances are exceptional. Siddharth, sometimes circumstances are exceptional. If there is a terror attack in the middle of this broadcast that we are doing, will we not immediately pivot? Therefore, the opposition is saying, let us pivot. There is a war in West Asia. 1 crore Indians live there. Our oil security and energy security is at risk. Let's discuss that. If they are pivoting to something that is far more important, what is the problem?
Please let me respond. Now I'll come to the exceptional circumstances. In the exceptional circumstances, the foreign minister of this country is making a statement. He's addressing the country. He's telling what's happening, what the government is doing. You don't want to listen to that. Is that exceptional circumstances? Is that how the opposition would deal with it? When the foreign minister is saying what India has done, how we are securing our energy needs, what's India's stand, what is the CCS decided, how we are monitoring the situation, how we are doing the evacuations, how we are ensuring that India's energy needs are met, you don't let that happen. You don't let the statement happen. And either you walk out or you create a ruckus.
Mohan Kumaramangalam, fair point. Mohan Kumaramangalam, fair point that Siddharth Yadav is making. If you wanted to discuss what is happening in the Gulf, at least the opposition should have had the decency and the patience to listen to what the External Affairs Minister was saying. Wahan par to aap sharam karo, sharam karo, sharam karo. Arey bhai, if you want to discuss the Gulf war, at least listen into what the External Affairs Minister is saying. You were not even ready to do that. Forget changing the goalpost.
Good evening, Shreya, and good evening to all your viewers. So we moved in adjournment motion, both through Mr. Venugopal in the Lok Sabha as well as in Rajya Sabha through Mr. Kharge to discuss this very issue. Of course, it's up to the discretion of the Speaker whether he admits that motion or not, and conveniently so, he chose not to admit it. Now, you yourself have said, and it's unfortunate that the government doesn't believe that the West Asia crisis is an important enough issue to discuss and debate it. But historical precedent will show that whether it is all the way the 1971 Bangladesh war or the 1950 Korean war, the 56 Suez crisis, the Arab-Israel wars, every single time the parliament has debated the issue ad nauseum. And in fact, I think our head of communications, Mr. Jairam Ramesh, has quoted the most recent example in 2003, where during the Gulf Wars, actually Mr. Vajpayee was Prime Minister, a complete debate was conducted. You cannot have the foreign minister come and just have a monologue. Of course, I understand the BJP is used to only monologues and not dialogue, but parliament, unfortunately for them, is about dialogue, debate and discussion. So you can't shy away from any of that when you have parliament in session.
Mohan, let me ask you this. Has the government said, no, we will not have a debate or a discussion on the Gulf crisis? No, they said we are ready for it.
Have they? Okay, sure.
Of course they have said they are ready for it.
I haven't.
But their point is the parliament will not run on the whims and fancies of what the opposition wants. One day they want a discussion on sacking the speaker. So aapne ek mahine hangama kiya. Now when that day comes when you debate it and vote on it, you suddenly change the goalpost and say, no, I want to discuss the Gulf War. I understand that the Gulf War is a bigger priority.
We have filed a motion to discuss it.
Mohan, I understand.
procedures
that the Gulf War is a bigger priority. But the government is not running away from it. No, they are saying, "Hum karte hain." But first, let's get this over with.
Why do you think that? Why did the government even make a statement about it? If
the government didn't make a statement about it, then you would have had a problem.
If the government is making a suo motu statement about it, and I'll go back to 1971 when Mrs. Indira Gandhi would come every day and make a statement about it and then allow a debate and discussion about the war. Why, if you're going to make a statement, why exactly are you not allowing for a debate and discussion on it? What is it exactly that you're scared of? What is going to come out in that process?
Mr. Kumaramangalam, does the opposition want a discussion on what is happening in the Gulf, or does it want to embarrass the government with things that have happened which have embarrassed the government? Like, for example, an American torpedo striking an Iranian ship in our backyard in the Indian Ocean region, or for the Americans to say that we have allowed India to buy Russian oil for 30 days, etc. So the point is, do you want to embarrass the government because of which you want to have this discussion, or do you want to have this discussion because you are genuinely concerned about rising crude oil prices across the globe? The fact that 1 crore people live in the Middle East. Go ahead, please.
Shreya, I'll speak to this as a citizen of this country. Right? Just now, I caught the fag end of your conversation with a gentleman whose insights were frankly astounding. Some of the things he talked about, the angles to this war, are things that I never even imagined. I would like my representatives in Parliament, the highest lawmaking body, those who are in charge of the progress of our country, to have a debate on this issue. And I'm sure we'll have far more insights and a far better way forward with how we handle this conflict. I mean, how is this even something that we can sit on for a few days for procedure? And I even made that point on procedure, so forget that. I think the government is shying away from this because it believes what you do, Shreya, which is that we will embarrass them. I think they need to get over their embarrassment or their fear of embarrassment and have a proper discussion for the benefit of our countrymen.
Siddharth Yadav, go ahead, please.
Shreya, I would very humbly want to, disregard the fact that any such discussion would bring embarrassment. Rather, I think we are more welcoming to any such discussion, because when a discussion will happen, the kind of propaganda that the opposition
Mr. Yadav, but how will you explain why Ayatollah Khamenei's name has not even been mentioned by the government of India? How will you explain a torpedo
Shreya, please, I've not spoken
decimating an Iranian ship in our backyard?
I don't know. If you have called me, you need to allow me 20 seconds to respond. I've just begun. I did not speak for 10 seconds. So any such discussion would rather, kill the propaganda that the opposition is trying to sell and their entire ecosystem is trying to sell. It will also kill all sorts of misinformation that the opposition is also trying to sell. We are very strong in our response. We are very strong in what we are doing. So all that propaganda that an Iranian ship was drowned in Indian Ocean, which was not even in our maritime borders, which was, way away from even our EEZ zone, need to be responded. The kind of response that the Indian Navy had given, the kind of response we were, the kind of shelter that we were offering, all those have to come into fore. The kind of propaganda regarding, scarcity of energy in our country has also to be responded. How do you respond to such propaganda in the parliament? The issue is something else. We are ready for all such discussions, and no such discussion will bring an embarrassment. The issue is something else. Why did you waste today? Why did you waste today? You wanted a discussion can happen tomorrow. You wanted a discussion, you wanted a voting, you wanted a motion on the speaker that was scheduled today according to you. Then you wanted a discussion on the Gulf. The foreign minister, according to you, because of you, is making a statement. Then you don't want to listen to that. What kind of anarchy is this? Whatever you want happens, and then you don't want what happens. Is this how a parliament can function? Is this how a country can function? I'm very sorry to say, if you had not wasted today, the government had very openly said, Kiran Rijiju has made a statement in the parliament, you want a discussion on the Gulf, the BSE will decide the number of hours, and I made this statement on your show, the number of hours the Congress would want, we would add 1 more hour to that. Had 1 more hour of discussion on that, but not at your whims and fancies, not at the cost of the parliament. The parliament is for the people, not for the Congress party. It is not 10 Janpath, I'm sorry.
Mr. Kumaramangalam, see, the point is the opposition is 100% right in demanding a discussion on what is happening in the Gulf for multiple reasons. Can we just put out the graphics that we have on why we are worried about what is happening in the Gulf so that our viewers have some context to that? So the opposition is absolutely right. The limited point is that this can't be my way or the highway politics. Now, मैंने बोला आज तो आज. If there was an agenda set for today, stick to the agenda. Tomorrow you can come to the war. The External Affairs Minister is making a statement. You are saying sharam karo, sharam karo. Arey bhai, why should he do sharam? He's only reading out a factual statement.
Shreya, we've had this. Yeah, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you when you're asking me a question.
Go ahead. I interrupt all of you so often that it is totally pardonable. Go ahead.
As far as propaganda and ecosystem and all these things go, I disregard them because I didn't hear any facts come out of the BJP spokesperson apart from we are strong, we're doing strong things, which are just proclamations. There are no real facts there. Now, if the opposition believes, and this has happened in the past, I've given you a lot of precedents in the first part when I was speaking, that there is something of vital importance to the energy security of the nation, to many Indian lives, our diaspora that are outside, threat to their lives. Do you not think that it behooves us to actually bring that up immediately, not wait for a day? Did the government not do its homework? Is that the problem? Is that why they were scared to have a debate? I don't know. I feel like everybody in this country knows that this is the most important thing for Parliament to discuss.
I agree with you.
It just boggles the mind why the government is standing on ceremony here and saying that, oh, it can't be your way or the highway. Please, if this was something flippant, I agree with you. It can't be our way or the highway. And frankly, you have the numbers. So there's this old saying, right, that the government at the end will have its way. But for Parliament to function, the opposition must have its say.
Mohan,
so
but the point is,
that.
Mohan, the limited point I'm saying is I'm also agreeing with you that the West Asia crisis is way more important than whether the speaker gets sacked or not. And we know that he cannot be sacked simply because the opposition doesn't have the numbers. It's largely symbolic, rhetoric hai aur kuch nahi. But Mohan, again, the limited point I'm trying to make is simply this. The government is not saying no to a discussion on what is happening in the Middle East. The point is the opposition is trying to be disruptive and saying nahi. आज ही करो, नहीं करोगे, so we will not let the house function. The money is taxpayers' money. No, when we see Parliament not function, we feel like our money is burning, like the pictures that we are seeing coming out of Tehran.
This is a continuation of multiple things, right? Every time, I mean, in a lot of ways, actually, this is related to the speaker's dismissal as well. When the speaker doesn't take our petitions, when he doesn't allow us to speak, when he allows the treasury benches to ride roughshod when we have to speak about something, the whole accusations made by the speaker, it doesn't feel like the House has any space for the opposition's voice.
So today you should have made that point. So today you should have made that point. And voted en masse against him.
Where are we going to talk? So they'll say, oh, it's not related to the business of the House. They'll shut us down. That's
what
they did last time.
But this time they were prepared.
Continuously, no,
this time they were prepared.
They were not prepared.
No, they were prepared. They said today is the day we have a discussion on the speaker. Today is the day we vote on it. They were prepared.
House is burning. Your house is burning outside, and you're talking about what we should cook for dinner. It's ridiculous. Such an important thing is happening.
Such an interesting thing to note that this is such a pertinent issue, such an important issue, but the opposition could only think about this at 10 a.m. in the morning. Not yesterday, not when the BAC was sitting, not when the time was assigned, not when they agreed upon today on the business for today, not when they decided that today can be done away with the motion on speaker and from tomorrow we can have discussion on all important issues. They did not think about it that. They thought about at 10 a.m. in the morning, after 12 days of the war, that today we think that suspension of business should happen. So this clearly shows the strategy. This is point number one. Point number two, my learned friend, if wants to hear about facts, you should have heard Jaishankar ji. He was speaking about our advisories. He was speaking about the evacuation. He was speaking about the energy needs. He was speaking about how diplomatically we are handling the situation. He was speaking about how Iran has allowed us in the Strait of Hormuz, not anybody else. And he was speaking about everything. But the problem with the opposition is, and I say this very blatantly, you do not want a discussion on the Gulf War. You just want to disrupt the Parliament. This is your reality. You just don't want the Parliament to function.
No, Mr. Yadav, while that may be true, the External Affairs Minister made what can be said to be a bland statement, because all the controversial parts that we had hoped he would touch upon, he didn't, right? We had thought there'd be something said about the Iranian ship.
or something said about what the Americans are saying about being allowed, India being allowed to buy Russian oil, etc., etc. Those things weren't touched upon.
Unfortunately, his part in the Lok Sabha was not even allowed to be completed. That's one.
I doubt.
Number two, I don't understand who decides the controversial parts or not. I think the most important for us is the Indian citizens who are in the Gulf. He was speaking on that.
No, Indian citizens decide.
He was speaking on the evacuation. He was speaking on what advisories the MEA had given. He was speaking about how the embassies there are functioning. He was speaking on the energy diversification. He was speaking on all those issues. And this limited point is,
all these things are in the public domain.
Discussion. We will have this discussion for as many hours as the opposition wants.
Okay.
But only at 10 a.m. in the morning. You want a suspension of business? Show your real intent.
Opposition will get the last word on this show because they claim they are not allowed to speak in the House. I can give Kumar Mangalam exactly 10 seconds. Go ahead, please.
It only happened, so I think he should only speak.
Yeah, the Parliament has always, historically, whenever there are issues such as this, where Indian nationals are directly affected, where the conflict has implication for India's borders, our energy security, it has always allowed for there to be an urgent discussion on matters. The route chosen is 0 hour or adjournment motions. Adjournment motions. I'll talk over you.
Do that.
See what I mean, Shreya? See what I mean?
You won't even let me finish my say here. No, you were repeating your point. 10 seconds over. You are repeating your point. We'll leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I just hope tomorrow the taxpayers' money is not wasted. Siddharth Yadav, thank you very much. Kumar Mangalam, thank you very much for joining us. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, a break. There's more on the other side. Do stay with us.